5.6, find rational zeros. All right, so this section in 5.7 will kind of tie together with how everything like meshes, but the only notes for this section are the rational zero theorem, which says if f of x equals a sub n x to the n plus dot 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 plus a sub 1 x plus a sub 0. That's just a function in descending order. Okay, it's just the generic form for a function in descending order.
Yo.
Has integer coefficients. Then every rational zero of f has the following form. And that is plus or minus p over plus or minus q, where p is the factors of the constant term a sub 0. So factors of the last term over q is the factors of the leading coefficient a sub n. So it's the factors of the last term over the factors of the first term. Sounds a lot scarier than it is.
It sounds very scary.
And every factor is plus or minus. Okay, so like if it was the number 4, it would be plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4 on top.
Oh, factors.
Yes, factors. And then if whatever q is, it's the factors of that. You have to remember, like, 1 in itself, like, always have to be factors, because a lot of times those are the ones that end up being the ones that work. All right, so the first problems say, and it's very key what it says, list all possible.
That hell.
What?
Really good.
Oh, thanks.
It looks like my sheet.
I don't know why, I just prefer cursive L's. Like,
Prettier.
yeah.
That was cool.
I think I was meant to have an L in my name.
Mine looks like that too.
And the only L in my name was in my middle name, so. List all possible rational zeros. So that means we're going to list out the factors and then we're going to write out what they could be. Okay? And that's all we have to do for these problems. But this will build. Toward the end of this section, we'll start actually finding which ones work using synthetic. So, number 4. G of x equals x cubed minus 4x squared plus x minus 10. So, anytime you've got like a 1 in front, you can be really, really happy because that means that your life is so much easier when we do these problems. Or even technically a 1 at the end will be really nice also, but you don't often have a 1 at the end. But if you have a leading coefficient of 1, You're doing real good. So the first one is, it's the factors of the constant term, so factors of 10, so plus or minus 10 over the factors of the leading coefficient, which in this case is 1. So obviously factors of 1 are just 1. That's why we like that. So on the bottom, I just have plus or minus 1.
1, 2, 5.
Zach just said the factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. And we always want to write them in order. Sometimes you're going to end up with really, really big numbers that have a lot. This one only has 4. But so 1, 2, 5, and 10. Now, this isn't done. Writing all possible is writing them like each individually. Now, this case, because it's all over 1, obviously it's not that different. And when we get farther along, I won't make you necessarily write it over 1 when we're doing these ones. But for the sake of you seeing it, I'm going to do this. So the way that your answer actually will end up being written is plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 5, and plus or minus 10. And the reason I want you to get in the habit of doing that with this problem is because once there's not just a 1 on the bottom, then you have to do all the numbers over the second factor on the bottom, then all the numbers over the third factor on the bottom. I've had as many as like 30 possible numbers before. Okay, which gets to be a lot. Now, the other thing I will say is because some things end up being fractions, if a number is ever repeated, we don't write it twice. Okay? And everything is plus or minus.
How would a number be repeated?
Like the factors of it.
Oh.
So like, we'll see it in the next problem, so I'll explain it.
So what is a rational zero? Like, what are we doing?
Those 4.
So you remember in the last section we were finding the factors and we were finding zeros?
Mm-hmm.
So remember how I said you'll be able to factor things that you wouldn't have been able to factor on your own before?
Yeah.
So by figuring out which of these are zeros, we'll be able to factor the problem.
Okay, I
We're starting to do that in this section, but the next section will be where we actually wrap that up.
Okay.
Which also, we will need calculators here shortly, but not at this moment. All right, number 6, h of x equals 2x cubed plus x squared minus x minus 18.
Wow. I'm sad because plus or minus 1.
So factors of 18 over the factors of 2, so plus or minus 18 over plus or minus 2. So what are factors of 18?
9 and 2.
1
and 8. 2, 3, 6, 9, 18.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 6.
So that runs right.
9. Oh wow! You gotta put a space between.
And
the
then,
six.
and then factors of 2.
1, 2,
1,
plus minus both.
Yes, a lot of times when I'm saying them, I'm not going to say the plus or minus every time, but just know that you need to write that. All right, so this is the key part. So obviously, everything that you factor on the bottom is always going to be 1 and something. Okay? No matter how many numbers on the bottom, there's always going to be 1. That means every single number on top always gets copied down at least, or not at least, but 1 time. Okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is copy down all of these numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18, all plus or minus.
You are upside down.
I don't like this section.
Now, we have taken care of all of the numbers over 1. Now I need all of the numbers over 2, but this is where I said repeats don't get counted twice. So 1 over 2, I don't have that one yet. 2 over 2 reduces to 1, which I already have, so I don't write it again. 3 over 2, I don't have that yet. 6 over 2 reduces to 3, which I already have. 9 over 2, I don't have that one yet. And then 18 over 2 reduces to 9, which I already have, so I don't need that. So now on this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 possibilities, but remember they're plus or minus, so there's actually 18 possible zeros here.
That makes sense.
Is that because there's 18 at the end?
No, because
No, I'm just asking. Is that a coincidence or is this a?
That's just a coincidence.
I was gonna say because then I could just.
Oh my goodness, Ryan.
1, 2.
I did the. Get my paper.
Oh my goodness. You just copied off the board.
All right. So these are all possible zeros right here.
Thank you.
It says all possible. Oh, because when you plug it in, it equals 0.
Really?
All right, 10. H of x equals 6x cubed minus 3x squared plus 12. And because I'm sure it will end up being a question at some point, missing terms don't matter as far as finding the possible zeros. It will matter when we find out which zeros are actually zeros. When we do synthetic, we got to have all the terms listed. So this one is plus or minus 12 over plus or minus 6. This one's going to have a lot. All right, factors of 12.
We got
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 12. Wow. We're telepathic.
That's just
Are you
like a
not
split
allowed?
second
How do
after
you process your words that fast?
I just repeated what he said, but
Mrs.
like a
Quinn,
split
are
second
you not
after he
allowed
said
to
it.
divide at the
1,
start?
2, 3.
No,
No.
That's 6.
because we're listing off zeros. We're not actually dividing.
Sans.
Roku.
All right, factors of 6.
1, 2, 3, 6.
Roku.
So I'm going to have a lot more on this one.
I really don't like this.
Okay. So all of the numbers over 1 go first. So I can go ahead and copy all those down.
This must be a pain to grade.
It is.
So we should.
Which is why I ask you to do them in this order that I'm doing them. Sometimes people just put them randomly on the paper and it actually irks me. I'm like, I just want to mark it all wrong. Like the one that has like 30 possible and they don't put them in order.
Well, we have to do 30 possible.
It annoys me. It's possible. I don't. All right, so once I've got all of them over 1, then I need all of them over 2. So 1/2.
3.
2 over 2 I already have. 3 over 2. 4 over 2 I already have. 6 over 2 I already have. And 12 over 2 I already have. So that one was nice. I only had to add 2 more. Then all of them over 3. So 1 over 3.
Oh my goodness.
2 over 3. 3 over 3 I already have. 4 over 3. 6 over 3 I already have. And 12 over 3 I already have. Then I need everything over 6. So 1 over 6. 2 over 6 is 1/3. I already have that. 3 over 6 is 1/2. I already have that. 4 over 6 is 2/3. I already have that. 6 over 6 is 1. I have that. And 12 over 6 is 2. I have that. So
I think I went on a whole row on one row.
Me
Wow.
too.
that's all possible.
I got it on like 2.
All right, now taking it a step farther and finding all real zeros of the function. That means right now what we have done is find all possible. Now we're finding all real, which means which ones actually are. Yes.
She wasn't talking to you. Stop talking.
I didn't say anything. I was about to.
You said.
I
I
said
don't remember what
so.
you said. Anyways, when am I gonna need this in life?
Tomorrow.
It's to help build your notes.
On the test.
So never.
Wouldn't it be nice if it all just
Syntax error.
Who came up with this?
Tornado.
Let's do this.
Yeah, ma'am. Who created this?
A guy.
I have no idea.
Someone with a lot of time on their hands.
Like, who
I
wants
also
to
don't
find out?
remember doing this in high school
What?
whatsoever.
See?
Oh, the no.
But I remember it, like the first year I started teaching, I was like, what is this? Like, I'm sure I did it, but I don't remember doing it in high school
Do you think
whatsoever.
Something Donald Trump incorporated in his first term as a president. If you think
I was teaching before that, so no.
Oh.
Look
This
up
is
who
something
made
Joe
this.
Biden. Wait, you were in school when I was in school?
What?
What? I graduated 10 years ago.
Oh wait.
Oh,
Like, exactly.
I was
I was
four.
in
And
kindergarten.
we were all in kindergarten.
Wow.
I was in.
I was excited. That's fascinating.
Wait, so you're like the age of?
No, I was joking. You wrote that like
Okay, number 12. F of x equals x cubed minus 5x squared minus 22x plus 56. Oh boy.
What?
That's a big number.
What is this?
Please don't say "oh boy" when you write down a problem.
No, I said that because 56 is a big number.
I
Change it,
Pick a different
please.
one.
Did you like
It's gonna make me cry.
2.
1?
It's actually not that bad. It just was
That
a
seems
big
very
number.
bad.
But it's over what?
One.
1, so we don't have to be sad.
Still horrible.
All right, plus or minus 56 over plus or minus 1 now.
2, 3, 4.
7.
What I'm going to tell you is I'm not going to make you rewrite them all when it's just over 1 because it's just time consuming at that point.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan probably already did.
All right, factors of 56.
1, 2,
56.
20.
3,
That's the only one I know.
because 30 and 26.
7.
3 can't go into that.
4,
7.
because
8,
50 and
7.
6. And then we got 8, obviously. 7, obviously.
No,
Wait,
because
I wrote
3
3.
And then
doesn't go
8.
into
Because
26.
5 plus 6 is 11.
Not
and
9.
you
Started
put
writing
Not
3
10,
into
not 11, 12.
So you're
not
starting to repeat. So once you know the middle term, so 7 and 8 are like they multiply each other. That means that whatever's next has to go with 4.
I don't know.
Oh, 22. No.
Definitely not.
No, it's
12.
no
14.
14.
14, 28,
Man, I thought I was
56.
cooking. I still haven't written down the problem yet.
All right, so I won't make you rewrite it if it's just over 1 for these ones.
Oh, I did.
All right, now you need your calculator out.
Oh, can I go get mine from my locker?
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Thank you.
Can I do the same?
Actually, I have a
Yes.
calculator.
Oh,
Yes, I do, Zach. I might not be.
Hey, I haven't had a normal Monday since like December 9th. This is our
Stop
first
throwing your
Monday.
clothes on me. Why have so much clothes in your backpack?
I found it.
What do you have so many clothes?
This
Wait,
was my
is that
mom's
the end of it?
calculator when she was in medical school.
No, we're not done with this problem.
I already squared it. Well, not
Oh, the
squared,
pocket's
rectangle.
coming out.
Well, that's not the answer to this problem, so.
4
Yeah, I just wish it was.
7. Oh, there's a glare. Oh, never mind. I know it.
7.
Plus or minus 14. Oh my gosh. Arrow plus or minus 28. Is there one after 28?
56.
Okay. What is it? Why is it so soft?
It's from Zach's pants.
All right, so what you're going to do,
Okay, ready.
just in case you happen to have one on, do second y equals and make sure all your plots are off.
Oh, one's on. What do I do?
Well, option 4 is plots off, so hit the number 4 on your calculator and then hit enter
I don't have a one.
and turn your plots off.
Mine says done.
So is
I
number
need to
5
see a
is
calculator.
number
I don't have
5
one.
supposed to be on?
No, 5 is turn all plots on.
Oh, okay.
I don't have a y equals.
Are you do you have a graphing
This is
calculator?
from 40 years ago.
Call my mom old.
No, you can't. I just listed a random number.
Y equals.
All right, go to y equals or don't.
Here, just look at mine.
I told my mom, I was like, the calculators are really expensive. You need to go find one. She's like, don't worry, I have one for you.
I don't think.
It says
All right.
graph on it, so.
Is y equals not at the top?
It's M1, F1. And when I press the one that's supposed to be it, it just is blank.
Oh no. Idea.
Okay. Type in this function as it is here, and I'll look at your calculator in just a second.
X is so big.
Yeah, I don't. It's kind of annoying, but it's fine.
Oh, for a second I thought we were writing the f of x.
Can I use O?
Oh no. Theta?
Could you move your calculator down slightly? Because
Wait,
it's
what
just
do
a
you
little
get
bit.
at?
Thank you.
Wait, how'd you get?
It's like the XT theta.
It's in the problem.
Where did you get the x thing?
It's up
the
here.
theta,
That's a
but-
big
Alright.
X.
Beside alpha. All right, Shepard, let me see.
Oh, I did the wrong one. Zach, don't do that.
It's been situations.
Oh, come on.
It's
So
a
what
TI
did I say?
85, not 84.
Wait, where's the x?
X.
Oh no, it's the same X.
I thought that was
Why did I
bigger.
change it?
Numbers bigger.
You're fine, Zach. Never mind.
I deleted it. Alpha x.
Minus 5
You push the up
X
button and
up to
change
the
X.
2
No, Daniel, that's not how it works.
Thank you.
No, that's not working.
minus 22 X.
hit the graph button, and then down here where it has the y of x, you have to hit F1, and then you can type it in. I think it should work.
Can you help me type this?
Okay.
Can you help me type this and show me?
We're
It's not that
typing in the
hard.
function, so x raised to the 3
I did it.
Okay,
minus
we're gonna get
5x
X.
squared
This is one thing I know how to do it now.
minus 22x
I feel old.
plus
Like
56.
me.
You do the up.
Thank you.
Oh, this button. Up into the 3.
Does everybody have it in?
Not
Yes.
quite yet.
Okay.
Minus 5
Number sequence.
x.
What the heck?
That's good.
No, my
Okay.
brain is like bugging out.
Minus
It's a Monday.
22.
I know.
X
Like, when was the last time we
plus
had
56.
Monday?
Got
Last
it.
Friday did not feel like a Friday.
Boom.
No,
because
it didn't.
last week
But I was
3
very
days.
glad when I went home that it was Friday.
I know. I feel like this is gonna be the longest week ever, just because.
I know I was banking on a snow day, having a 3-day week last week, 4-day week this week, 4-day week next week. But it's also supposed to snow again next Tuesday.
Yay.
I don't know.
Actually, I'm kind of done with the snow at this
Oh,
point.
we
Like
have
we
games, like,
had
every day.
Christmas.
But
we
it
had
hasn't been like
snow.
a snow that like was
First.
I
good.
guess.
Like if this one had
Yeah.
actually been like the 5 or 6 inches that they
that we're
promised
supposed to
us,
have.
would have been fine. But it wasn't. It's kind of sad.
It's Virginia. What can you say?
What are you
It's been
doing
like
to
a
that?
couple years since the last one.
All right.
Yeah.
Does everybody have this in?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay, Shepard, I don't know if yours is gonna work this way, so maybe don't hit this button. But
Press the button.
okay, hit zoom up here,
Oh,
top
man.
middle,
Zoom.
and then
Zoom.
these are all your options for how it's gonna display on your calculator. We're looking for standard, which is option 6. You can either arrow down or you can just hit the number 6. But that is gonna graph a standard equation.
I finally got it, but you went too fast.
What is this?
So after I get to zoom,
Is yours wiggle?
which one do I press?
I got
Standard.
one line.
Mine wiggles.
Oh no.
Oh,
I
you
got 3
wiggles too.
lines.
Now, I will tell you, you don't necessarily have to hit zoom 6 every time. That's like the automatic thing that it goes in. But if you have changed anything or you've done like a zoom box or something at any point, then it will have to do that. I usually just do it every time just for consistency. So what we're looking for here is approximately where does this cross the x-axis? And we want to write all of those numbers down. Okay?
-4.
So -4 looks to be 1.
Because it says on your graph, buckaroo.
2. What is that?
That other one
Nope,
is.
it can't be 6.
I don't want to count.
1,
It's 7.
2.
Thank
It's
you.
7.
I was like, I was counting from this number and I was like, it can't be 6.
3.
So I'll also tell you, it has to be a number you've written down.
Those are all
so I
numbers
can just
you
write
write
down
down.
any of those.
4,
Wrote.
2, 7. All numbers we wrote down. Okay, obviously, plus or minus.
Oh wait, so are those the like factors that we can write? Like
Well, so right now, these are just still possibilities of what we think might work. Now, but what I'm going to tell you is, if you can see it on your graph, it's 0. The reason I'm telling you that is because sometimes you'll have fractions like 1/3, 1/2, 1/4, 2/3 all in there, and you have to sit there and guess which number it is to a point. And so You may not be able to visually see it. These are all whole numbers, so yes, they are. But I'm going to show you how to check them because you need to be able to do that in general. All right, so done with the calculator for the moment. So now what we're going to do is we are going to run synthetic division on all three of these numbers.
I thought that was the end.
No, we're still not done.
This is one whole problem.
This is a long.
These problems end up taking up about a half a page to a page by the time we're all said and done with everything we're doing.
I'm at the very bottom of my page.
Bro, why did I
Huh?
come back
That
to
was
this
just
day?
one section that doesn't have notes.
Like,
All right, -4. So numbers in front, no terms are missing. So I've got 1, -5, -22, and 56.
oh wait, you
Bring
can
it
do it
down.
for each number.
Yeah, she just said that.
So we bring down the 1 times -4 is -4, minus 5 is -9, times -4 is positive 36, minus 22 is 14, times -4 is -56. So we got a 0. That's what we want to see. If we don't see a 0, either it wasn't a 0 to begin with or we've done something wrong. Okay, if I didn't get a 0 on the end of this one, I would have known something was wrong because I could clearly see on the graph they were whole numbers. When you have fractions, it gets a little dicey.
I don't know what we did.
Right.
I brought down the 1,
Okay, so you bring it down.
multiplied it by -4,
Okay.
and that went right here. Then I subtracted 5. You're just adding in the columns, but it's subtracting. So I got -9, multiplied by -4, got a positive 36, minus 22, give me 14.
And 4 times negative.
14 times -4 is -56, plus 56 is 0.
So that's how you do synthetic substitution?
This is synthetic division.
Cool.
It's basically the same thing, but
You take away X's.
Multiply that by -4 so you get -5.
the goal is to get 0.
Okay, so you add that, you get -9.
I think some guy just got really bored with the math that he was doing and just decided to make everything else.
I think these are the problems that my parents
Don't say
warned
that.
me about that
Don't
like
say that,
take
it's
up the
bad.
whole
So what?
page and
Yes.
it's sad.
I don't know.
All right, now
Say that.
let me explain something. From here, I have found that this is a 0. I can just use 1, -9, and 14 to continue on if I want to, or I can use these same initial numbers. The farther we go with this stuff, you're going to want to work down because we're going to be trying to write this as like a set of factors. That is not what we're doing in this section, but if you want to go ahead and get used to it, you can. Okay, so what that means is then I'm going to use 2 now with the numbers that are left over. So 1, -9, and 14.
Wait, why are we doing synthetic again instead of just like grouping it? And like
Because technically what we're doing in this section is synthetic to prove that they are.
so I can't just
Well,
like
it's
go
zero
-7 and -2 are the factors of the equation and then like
You can, but we're doing synthetic for this section,
You know,
so
one,
for practice.
1 times 2 is 2, which gives you -7. -7 times 2 is -14. Gives me 0! Oh my goodness, I know how to do some.
And now we put in
some
a
synthetic,
7.
synthetic division.
Yeah.
So then obviously what's left, to Daniel's point, it was this way in the last one. And sometimes also it's not going to be something still that you can factor, Daniel. Typically they're going to be bigger than x cubed. So you wouldn't have been able to do that. But at this point, so just to refresh from last week, this was an x cubed term here. So this became an x squared term. That means this is now an x term. So what I'm left with down here is x minus 7, which equals 0, or x equals 7, which would be my final factor, or my final 0, sorry. So -4, 2, and 7 are all zeros. So these are the zeros that actually work.
Oh, that was just to check it?
Yes.
Oh.
That actually makes it worse.
Well, you have to think. We're doing this like step by step. So we have verified that these are zeros, but this will allow us in section 7 to write this as a product of factors.
This looks like a cold.
We're just doing things step by step instead of it all being at once. Let's see.
Yeah, we left you with LQ all by yourself.
Yeah, and I left immediately. I got nervous.
You didn't finish the horror game.
I'm skipping the ones that just have a 1 in front. I want us to do a different one.
Wait, we have to do another one?
26. So same thing, but these ones are gonna have they're like a little different chunk of problems. But h of x
Whole new page.
equals 2x cubed minus. Actually, let's do this. Hold on, back up.
Oh.
You already wrote it.
Back up.
I'm gonna have to write
Why
really,
did I go to Williamsburg?
For our game.
I'm gonna do 30 instead.
Or Christian is in Williamsburg.
Oh.
Wait, is that like an hour away?
What?
All right, I'm doing number 30 instead.
Might as well
Dang it! I already wrote h of x.
You can leave it as h of x, so it doesn't change anything.
I wrote
Oh,
N of X.
I-
2x to the 4th plus 9x cubed plus 5x squared plus 3x minus 4. I wanted one with a higher powered x. Now,
Thank you.
let's talk about something else. In this last problem, what was the highest powered x?
2, 1, 3.
1.
3. It was x cubed. How many zeros did I have?
3.
Can I have more zeros than my highest powered x?
No.
No. Can I have less?
Yes.
How?
Because they repeat.
When they repeat.
I can have repeating or I can have non-real zeros, which also comes later.
Me too. Yours are.
All right, so
Yep. I feel like they were. almost
plus or minus 4 over plus or minus 2. Oh, well, this one. Well, it does have something. All right, so plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 4 over plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2. So I need to write them all out now. So everything over 1 would just be 1, 2, and 4. And then everything over 2, 1/2 is the only one. 2 over 2 is 1, and 4 over 2 is 2. So I don't need to rewrite those. So way less options this time.
And we usually cut.
So you're going to graph this function in your y equals.
Clear.
So in y equals, you're going to need to clear it.
Shoot.
2x.
Where? Nope, it's the 4.
Delete. Where's delete?
Delete?
Plus
I don't know what elite is.
9.
You can also just arrow left and type over.
Are factor thingies where 1, 2, 4, and half?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
So on graph.
I know, but I'm not like that.
Resume.
Shoot, I don't know how to clear a graph. So I just delete all this.
How do I put it to an X?
Plus 5.
What in the world is that?
2.
I feel like it should be simpler.
Yeah, plus
Wait, I'm not there yet.
Where?
X
Negative 4 and 1.
plus
to the third plus
what?
to the 2.
Negative 4 and 1.
Hey, what is that? That's not me.
Do we have it typed in?
Yes.
No.
I did it.
Plus
They're just slow.
5 x squared
Quit.
plus. Oh, I forgot to put
Take your time.
plus
Yeah, my calculator's still loading. 3. Ooh, it went like.
All right, once you type it in, hit zoom 6 just to get in the habit.
minus 4
When we start trig, we'll be using something different.
That's what mine did.
Yeah, it went like.
alpha x
Alpha.
So then what you want to do is you want to look at this graph and see approximately where they are. So it looks like we've got 1 at -4. And it looks like it's probably between 0 and 1. So I would say it's probably 1/2.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
not a dot.
Whoa, it did the same thing.
And that's all of them.
Whoa, it did something different.
Now, when you have more fractions, sometimes it's a little more of a guessing game. In this case, we only had 1, which was nice. Now, it doesn't look like it crosses anywhere else. So, I would suggest typically that you start with the whole number and not the fraction, but it's up to you.
I like fractions.
All right, so -4. I don't have any missing terms, so just copy everything down exactly.
2.
Wow, that was really easy.
How do we get the Oh, from the top. Okay.
There were too many ones.
All right, so bring down the 2 times -4 is -8. Plus 9 is 1 times -4 is -4. Plus 5 is 1 times -4 is -4. Plus 3 is -1 times -4 is +4. Minus 4 is 0. So that one worked.
Checky.
No.
Now, this was an x cubed term. Or, sorry, this was x to the 4th. It's now x cubed, so still can't factor it. So I have no choice but to do synthetic, which is why I wanted to do a higher power one. So 1/2 now goes in the box. And we use, well, you can either use the original numbers or you can use the numbers we just found. I would say just use the numbers we just found. So, because it's getting you ready for the next section. 2, 1, 1, -1. What in the world?
Whoa.
Okay, Netflix, I guess.
Whoa.
Now it's so light I can't see.
What? All right, bring down the 2 times 1/2 is 1 plus 1 is 2 times 1/2 is 1 plus 1 is 2 times 1/2 is 1 minus 1 is 0.
That's the best math I've done all.
I've done a 3 months on the fraction. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the nice thing is the fractions usually do work out a lot nicer than they seem like they will. I've had a handful of them that had fractions throughout that were a pain to deal with. But I usually save the fractions for last. So at this point, all I know is that I have 2 real zeros. It's possible that I have some imaginary zeros or they could have been repeated. I don't know yet. So even though this was to the 4th, I only have 2 zeros on this one. Any questions?
May I use the restroom?
Yes. All right. Do y'all feel like you're going to need to see another one tomorrow?
No.
Or are we
No, I think I
okay?
got it. It's just a lot.
Facts.
Yes, tomorrow.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what your problems are. If when we come in tomorrow you feel like you need to see another one, tell me. This is not homework. You will have tomorrow to work on this. Okay?
I had to open a whole new notebook.
Like, guys, we are not doing. We need to see another one.
I understand it. It's just time consuming.
Yeah,
It's
it's
too
very,
tedious for me.
very, very.
It's
I do.
actually not that bad.
All right. Problems 3, 9,
You could talk into it. And do it.
17, 27, and 33.
What section is this? Oh, it doesn't have it. Wait.
5.6.
Oh, it does have a section.
All right, so like I said, you have tomorrow in class to do this. That way, if you have questions, you can ask either me or a friend. If we need to refresh at the beginning of class tomorrow, just tell me. I don't mind doing another one.
How far do we have in this class? Is it worth me starting or am I?
No.
No.
You might get number 3 done,
Alright, no.
You might.
which is also